Hi, Stargazers, Arik here, and we are approaching the first lunar eclipse of 2021. We're approaching eclipse season. It's going to be in the sign Sagittarius, so we're going to have the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. An eclipse is actually when the moon is being blocked out. The light of the sun is being intercepted by the earth, and then it casts over a shadow over the moon. And also, this is a super moon. It's also the flower moon. So it's really a lot going on. So flowers, it's a time of blooming. It's a time of, things coming into fruition. But it's really interesting because the full moon is actually the time of the month when we want to eliminate obstacles that have arisen since our new moon intentions. So the new moon is a lot of blessings and it's a lot of good energy, but the full moon is the time when we really need to hunker down and do the work, because we need to do both. We cannot just make connections and have blessings and receive them. We have to work so that we can ensure future blessings, and that also we can work off the ones that we've received so that we can do something with them. And that's kind of what this is all about with the Gemini season, multitasking, or at least trying to multitask. And then Sagittarius, the full moon, wants to put things into action. It wants to find truth. It wants to find how things come together and how things actually all work. So this is, when we're trying to find that work, when we're trying to find that balance, what we want to do, of course, is to avoid compromises. We want to synergize, because when we compromise, what happens is that we settle for less. And anytime we settle for less and we compromise, we wage a war within us. We start to become resentful. We start to kind of think like, why did I settle for that? And this is what happens. So we have to think about this. This is what this eclipse is going to bring up for each and every one of us, because it's a really powerful eclipse. And the eclipse, of course, is going to have repercussions throughout, for many months to come. So the flower full moon, also think about like your favorite flowers, connecting with your flowers and, from nature. And speaking of flowers, of course, I'm going to recommend the Gemini and the Sagittarius essential oils. So of course, these have like lavender and juniper berry and basil, all kinds of really good stuff to help kind of activate, to defeat also self-sabotaging patterns. So if you're feeling sabotaging patterns, that's this eclipse. So sabotaging patterns are anytime, that we're just like talking ourselves out of doing something good, or talking ourselves into doing something bad that's not really good for us. This lunar eclipse is going to show you where you're still getting in your own way and limiting your life. So this flower eclipse is really a time when you can stop the self-sabotage by activating whatever aspect of positivity is being illuminated by this full moon chart. Of course, I'm going to talk about it in the full moon workshop, so definitely sign up for that and stay tuned for that. Now, our ego mind wants us to think small. It wants us, and by small, of course, it can think big, like in terms of like, what does it want? But it's selfish. So this is small. So God wants us all to have everything, more than we can ever imagine. But our ego cuts it off and says, well, I only want this much because I don't feel worthy of this, or I'm sabotaging, or I'm going to destroy things. So the universe is not going to grant your wishes, because it's going to be like, well, you're just going to destroy it. So why should we give it to you? So the eclipse, that's kind of what's symbolized by the eclipse. The eclipse will try to rob us of the opportunity to think large and to expand, which is said in Sagittarius is good, right? And so that we remain in a state of deprivation and in a state of smallness. So definitely sign up for the full moon, lunar eclipse, flower moon. I'm going to go into that really really deep. We're going to do a deep dive into what that's all about. But what we need to know just generally otherwise is like that the full moon is always this time of reflection. And even you could say more so on the eclipse, because things are hidden. So we need to bring things up. We need to be open to what's coming up. And what's going to come up big time is Sagittarius is connected to guilt. And eclipse is, of course, the subconscious, unconscious pattern. So this is all about unconscious guilt that drives us to live into a false life and listen to fake guidance. So we are really asked to question our direction and to stop confusing the media and outer voices and influences from our friends and family who are maybe well-intended, but we have to really trust our own guidance and our own intuition. So the unconscious guilt can actually make us vulnerable to listening to people that don't have our best interests at heart. The unconscious guilt can motivate us to do all sorts of things, such as being a do-gooder or being codependent or being stupid. The unconscious guilt is really hidden and it's repressed. And when I'm doing healing work on people, of course, I'm always bringing it up and looking at how can we work with that and what's going on with the unconscious guilt, because it wants to be released. By the way, I want to mention I just got a batch of flint stones, and not like, the Flintstones, but actually this is flint, and this is connected to this lunar eclipse. So definitely, this is such a powerful stone. I mean, you don't know. It's kind of hard to see it in 2D, but like really, it's so powerful, this flint, and it looks small, but like think of a diamond, how much power a diamond has. This flint helps to like help with high performance and releasing the unconscious guilt and all that. So it's like we want to definitely move out of these long haul guilt trips that trick us into settling for less and compromising on life. So it's really like the eclipse will be this time when we are confronted with situations we've talked ourselves into something. So that's Gemini, or we've been talked into something like, and we didn't really want it. So even if it was supposedly good for us, right? If we have a justification or a big drama or a big story about it, it's still a compromise. And of course, I'm going to address this deeper in the Flower Moon workshop. So just think of all these situations. And of course, if you're going to be working with this full moon, which I highly suggest, the question for this quest is, which are my holy wars, right? So where am I fighting my holy wars? And of course, this is what we're talking about. Every time we settle for less and compromise, we wage a war within. So you guys, Flintstone, Sagittarius oil, also chakra 3 oil is very helpful with all this. There's a lot going on. Please let me know how the full moon eclipse is for you. If you're feeling crazy, this is the eclipse. That's the time, it's okay. You're not going mad. It's really intense. There's a lot to release. And I will be guiding us all through a workshop. It's $14. You can sign up. I will see you there, and please catch the replay if you can't make it live. It's as powerful. Okay, share this with somebody in your world. Thank you. Bye-bye.